comfortable to turn on your videos, I would love to see you. Welcome to this space. So we'll just start with a small grounding exercise before we dive in. So if you would like to close your eyes or lower your gaze, whatever feels good for you. And just let's settle in. Arrive here. Feel the support of the chair you're sitting on. Maybe how your feet feel on the ground.
Or
notice how easy it is for you to feel supported and held. You can start by observing your breath, not trying to change anything, simply observing. Observe the cool air going in and the warm air within your nostrils as it comes out. And ever so slightly extend this breath. As you inhale a bit deeper. Observe that expansion, the gentle contraction when you exhale. Exhale a bit more fully. Continue breathing in this way for a few more breaths. Filling your lungs fully and exhaling completely. You can also check in what your body might need right now. Does it maybe need to stretch the neck a little bit? Maybe roll the shoulders. Is it asking for a gentle stretch of the arms, maybe? Just high. Is there some part of your body which could use a little touch? Maybe your arms could do a little squeezing, rubbing. Maybe a gentle squeeze around your thighs or legs. That's the little bit of love and support you can give your body right now. Maybe place a hand on your cheek and let it hold your face. And another on your heart. And rest here. Allowing your breath to settle naturally. Whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes, look around the room. The call has joined us here, all these lovely ladies. Welcome again. So I see some familiar faces for who else doesn't know me. I'm Spandana. I'm an inner growth and menstruality coach, and I'm also a teacher of Vedantic self-inquiry. I'm a lineage-based teacher. And in my work, I'm trying to help women reconnect with their cyclical nature through menstruality, through embodied self-awareness practices, nervous system wisdom and regulation, and also ancient Vedic teachings that guide us back to our deeper knowing. I take one-to-one sessions, and I also conduct women's circles and workshops. And I'm one of the facilitators here on Evolved Beings, so you'll find me listed there if you would like to book a session with me. Today, we're going to, as you saw in the topic that you signed up for, we're going to dive in to these two very different energies which are alive around us and in us, these masculine and feminine energies, the Shiva and Shakti energies, which are manifested in everything around. And we will see them very explicitly mirrored in our own cycle, our menstrual cycle. And what is organizing these two forces, like when you taking the in breath and out breath, you notice that deep expansion and contraction, right? So these cycles are there in everything. So this first bit of the cycle, this expansion which happens, we call this the Shiva, the masculine energy. And the other part, the contraction which happens, the exhale, is the feminine, the Shakti energy. And while these two energies are always available to us at all points in time, there is something which happens which makes us be more in the masculine or more in the feminine, or let's say it's more easily accessible to us in one part of the cycle than the other, right? And what's organizing this whole movement of energy is our two poles of the menstrual cycle. Let's call them the North and South Pole. And for those of you who are not, are beyond your menstruating years or don't have a period currently for some other reason, you could also refer to the same energy in the cycles of the moon. So the new moon, which we are at today, is symbolic of the menstruation energy. And the full moon is symbolic of the ovulation energy. So when we are going now from our South Pole, the new moon to the full moon, so you can see, imagine this moon going, becoming brighter and brighter. There is this energy of expansion. You will feel your physical energy rising. You will feel the outward focus, how you are engaging with the world, how you're connecting with the world, who you want to be in the world, all these kind of impulses rising. There is this power of agency, wanting to establish your will, pursue your goals, create an identity for yourself in the world. There's an expansion of all this. And then there is something very particular happening in each of these poles. At menstruation, you bleed. At ovulation, you release an egg. So these are the two stable anchoring points in our cycle, where the power of presence is very available to us because you have access to a very stable amount of these two energies in this, a stable balance of these in these 2 points. And on the other end, when you're coming from this full moon, your ovulation energy, you're coming down, imagine the moon again, dimming. It's a dimming of your outer lights. You start becoming more disconnected from what you want to be in the world and becoming more alive to what is inside. Your inner lights start coming on. So you become more intuitive, you become more connected to yourself, your deeper knowing, all these things all the needs you put aside in your high energy phase, you start observing them. And today, a lot of these issues like menstrual PMS, what is called in the world, all these issues that women face is because they're trying to ride that high wave of that outward energy that you felt at your peak inner summer at your ovulation. And that's why it feels like, oh, what's wrong with me now? It's nothing that there is wrong with you. It's just that you're different. You are cyclical beings. So there is different energies at play at every point. So with this, while the outer energy, your physical energy might be coming down, you have access to a great number of other capacities. Your powers of intuition get heightened, powers of inner knowing get heightened, right? And all this culminates again at your menstruation, the new moon phase, where it's like the outer lights are off and the inner lights are completely blazing. So you can feel this deep connection to your inner knowing, yourself. Outer lights being off represent the physical energy is low, your connection with the outside world, what you want to do in the world is low. But you have a lot of capacity to be very connected to your inner world right now. Your cycle. Have you noticed how you are different in these two poles? So think of your menstruation and ovulation. Do you feel exactly the same in these 2 points, or are you a bit different? Yes. Stephanie, I see you wanting to say something.
I feel very different in the two poles, for sure.
In what way would you like to share?
At the South Pole or the new moon or the menstruation pole, I feel like cocooning and taking more rest, and the outside world sort of the importance disappears. Um, and at the full moon or the North Pole or ovulation time, I feel like totally being outside, being surrounded with people, engaging with whatever projects I'm working on fully, and saying yes to everything. And I'm really happy to notice the difference and to, yeah, play with both and use both at their own times.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. What we can, yeah, she'll pick up. Please go ahead.
While I resonate with what Stephanie said, it's more or less like that for me also. But I have also noticed that sometimes during the menstruation phase, it's also I also get into like my sexual energy also heightens. It's not always, not in all cycles, but I have certain cycles where I feel like, my sexual energy is at a different, which is, normally it's at an ovulation, but I feel it stronger sometimes in the menstruation phase.
And is it different somehow? Is it kind of, is the sexual energy focused towards someone, or it's a different kind of sexual energy you feel in the time of menstruation? This kind of deep
I think it's
connectivity, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it's in those lines, it's not particularly towards someone, even if, there is no partner or, I'm alone. Even in that moment, I think it's an awareness of a different kind of a shift in the energies. So it is still connection to my inner being, but it also, it surprises me because it's not always in every cycle. There are cycles when I just want to rest and my body just wants to, you know, be in rejuvenation and that. But there are some cycles in which I feel, even though I'm rested, there is also a different kind of a awakening.
Beautiful. That actually brings me to a very interesting point I would like to share. So, this sexual energy, um, it's what? It's basically this life creation energy, right? It's the biggest creation energy that there is. As women, we carry this primal life-giving energy, but it can manifest as creation of anything. So at menstruation, your prana is completely drawn inwards, like deep, deep inwards. And at ovulation, your prana is as if drawn more outwards. Um, and in this time of menstruation, when it's drawn inwards, deep within yourself, there is this connection of, there can be a connection of uh, being connected to yourself, the highest self, being connected to the whole in a way, right? For those of you who are into non-duality. So there can be this sense of almost being in love, not towards someone else, but just being in love itself, like being love itself. This some women describe it as this giant mother hug, and it's so that's why it's slightly different. This kind of the sexual energy we might feel at menstruation and ovulation, not necessarily for everyone. But if you notice, you'll notice that very little subtlety, which is very interesting. Yeah. And so I think what we could do is, Ritambra, could you set up some breakout rooms just for how many of people we have here? Maybe just 3 people in a room,
Yeah,
3 people in
Swati,
a room.
I'll do that.
And I would love to give everyone a chance to speak within your small groups. And then we'll come back to the main session. And while we do that, I'll just very quickly share a diagram which can help you maybe anchor. So this is just to tell you the 2 poles that we're talking about. So we haven't covered this part yet, so don't worry about that. So I was just talking about these 2 poles of menstruation and ovulation, or you can talk about the new moon and the full moon, and this kind of rising of energy, the expansion which happens in the first half of the cycle, and a contraction which happens in the second half. So I'm using 2 frameworks here. One is the 2 Viyas, which is by Red School, one of my early teachers, and the Shiva Shakti, which is from the yogic framework. So what is Shiva, right? That will come back after the breakout room. So for now, you can talk about how you experience these 2. Hi, welcome back.
Hey.
Let's see if
In between, it is saying recording in progress. Is the recording happening from my side or your side?
I think it's happening from our side.
Your side. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, because I don't have storage for recording. That's why. Anyhow.
That's right. Great.
Right.
So, how is that? Anyone wants to share any gems which came out from their breakout rooms? Any further insights? So, Joe is saying a group discussion had some reflections and questions. Is there a relation between our menstrual cycle and the moon cycle? How? And and how the meditation practices differ? Sure, that's a good question. Yes, there is. So in scriptures, in Indian scriptures, the moon is called the presiding deity of the mind. So the moon cycles very much affect our inner psychology, our inner physiology, and what kind of instincts come up, and what kind of tendencies come up are very affected by the moon. So, irrespective of whether you have a menstrual cycle or not, you will be impacted by the moon. So, the scriptures have talked about it for eons. There is very little modern research as such done on it. But I do know, like some smaller companies I was working with, we did some research in e-commerce to see. We saw that people tend to make more impulsive purchases in the full moon, right? And things like that. And the relation between the menstrual cycle, so energetically, the full moon energy is the same as the ovulation energy. And the new moon energy is the same as the menstruation energy. So now it is said, there is no real proof of it. So in the time when we lived a lot more cyclically in tune with nature, that women used to bleed more with the rhythm of the moon. I'm not sure if that's true, but anyway, it's not very important. So for women who are menstruating, you will predominantly feel the effect of the menstrual cycle pattern in yourself. And you'll have to layer that with whatever is the moon, what's happening with the moon. For men or women who are not currently menstruating, you will probably feel the effect of the moon more. But once you start becoming more aware of your internal cycles, then you will really understand all these subtleties. So I really feel a difference when I bleed during full moon versus the new moon. So if I bleed during new moon, which is the energies are very symbiotic anyway, so I'll feel even quieter. I will feel even more like drawn inwards, very contemplative, very easy to meditate in this time. And if I bleed during the full moon, where the energies are a bit opposite, in a way, I'll feel the effect of both energies a bit lesser. But also because my prana is all drawn in at menstruation, but there is this full moon, which is more of like an outward pushing of the energy. I experience it as I'm fully inside, but kind of blazing inside. But yeah, every woman is different. You'll experience it differently, but for sure there is a link. And like you say, the meditation practice, these two poles, the new moon and the full moon, are very grounding points in your cycle. So your meditation, you'll be very grounding in your waking state, even in your meditative state, you might find that very powerful to meditate in these times. And rest of the times in your cycle are transition states. It's like we are trying to find your rhythm, find your footing. The more in tune you're with your cycle, the deeper you might be able to go in meditation at any of these points. So living cyclically for sure helps with that. Does that kind of answer your questions you had?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other sharings from the groups you would like to share? Yeah, Ritambra.
Yeah. I don't know how to unmute myself.
You're
Am I
unmuted.
audible?
We can hear you. Yes.
Oh, I'm unmuted already. Okay, okay. Well, my name is written a little wrongly. My name is Bindya, actually. Something else is written. Anyhow, my question is, what can we do to get our cycle synchronized with the moon cycle?
Oh, it's not necessary. I
Is
mean,
it an
I'm not
ideal
even.
thing to have? Is it ideal to have it that way? As you said earlier, women used to have it like that. Maybe.
I mean, don't worry about it because, I mean, it is said somewhere, but I've not really seen any concrete proof that that's how it was. So we have the cycle we have, and it's more important to understand how it's affecting you, right? So why do we do menstrual cycle awareness? Why do we do moon cycle awareness? It's basically just to see what tendencies are alive. So even psychology says that 95% of the things we do are completely instinctual. We are, there's some instinct which is coming up and we are reacting to that instinct. We're not really using our free will most of the time. And that's the same thing the Indian scriptures say. It says, there is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita which says, people are slave to their tendencies. What's the point of restraint? Then it goes on to explain that how do you actually restrain, right? So just because its tendency is coming up doesn't mean you have to react to it. It's more useful to see what's coming up, why it's coming up, so that you can then use that information in a way which is more conducive for you. So you don't have to change how you are going to be because we are cyclical, but there are particular powers and particular challenges at each point in your cycle. So being aware of that helps you live more aligned with that energy which is coming up, helps you wield that energy in a way which is more conducive to you, right? So if you have, in our room, one lady was saying at menstruation, we have like, my body just wants to rest. It doesn't want to do anything but rest. That's great. Listen to your body. Give it the rest that it's asking for. That's the whole point of having that, being connected to your inner knowing. You give it what you want. That's the reason women live longer, so much longer than men in general, because we have this detoxification built in monthly. And when you're detoxifying, your body is weaker energetically. So you need to give it rest. And hence, there are different tendencies coming up, both powers and challenges at different points. So just observe the cycle, observe what's happening with your menstrual patterns, observe what's happening in the moon to be informed by it. You don't need to change it.
Okay. I get that. Thank you.
Thank you. So another topic I would like to touch upon is this. So I said this first half is the Shiva energy, and the second half is the Shakti energy, the masculine and the feminine, right? And now there are a lot of words which come up when we say masculine and feminine. Could someone give me, you can either tell me or put it in chat what comes up for you when you think masculine or feminine? What is the energy you think of? So masculine, outward, action oriented. Yes. You can also unmute yourself and tell me things. You can tell both what's positive and negative about both of these.
Masculine, I feel, is like, more of a protection and marking your territory kind of thing. That is more masculine thing, and nurturing and, that creating is the feminine thing. This is what I feel.
Lovely. Lovely. Nurturing, creating, feminine, protection, marking your territory, very much. Masculine, yeah.
Yeah.
Feminine is soft, empathetic, loving, connecting. Masculine is action, rational, functional, assertive. Yeah, very
And both
much.
men and women have got both the tendencies. Even men have got the feminine tendency also in their lower times. And masculine, when they are very comfortable, they can cry and, be a little easy. And
Absolutely. So the masculine and feminine are not to be confused with male and female.
Right. This is my point.
So it's a good point that both these tendencies are there in both of us, in both men and women, and they're also there in all energies in nature, right? And Stephanie wrote feminist. Okay, I'll read at that. So today, what's dominant in the world? We kind of say we're in this patriarchal world, the feminine is suppressed, and it's true. And but it doesn't make the masculine bad. What's the problem in the world today is the lower masculine energies are very prominent, right? So this aggression, assertiveness, dominance, these lower tendencies of the masculine. Yeah, the weaker tendencies of the masculine are dominant. But is the Shiva energy a man or a woman who fully embodies the Shiva energy? It's not, it's more the energy of protection, it's the energy of strength. It's the energy of calmness, composure. So it's not cold. It's calm, because it has the ability to be still in the storm, right? It's not emotional, but that lack of emotion comes from an inner strength, not coldness. And this strength also goes into wanting to protect people around, wanting to protect dharma, right? So, and if there is a necessary imposing of will required, the masculine energy can impose that will. But if it's rightly balanced with the feminine, with the inner knowing, then it'll know what to assert for. So it won't blindly assert its will, because without the balance of the feminine, it can become very disbalanced. It can become very egoic. It's not very relational. So when the feminine comes in, the inner knowing comes in, this receptivity comes in, right? Then that informs the masculine of how masculine is providing the structure, but how that structure should be informed will come from the feminine. The feminine is the one which is receptive, which is reading the signs around. So it's not imposing its own will, but it's being informed by what things around are saying. So it's like it's a power with what's happening around. So it informs itself and it molds itself to then still exert that intention, manifest things, create things. But instead of going in a very egoic way, it goes in a very relational, cohesive way with the world around. Of course, with this deep intuition, inner knowing, also comes that's the feminine in its highest form, the Shakti fully awakened. But if the Shakti is not awakened, what will that show up as? It'll show up as overly emotional. It'll show up as being, instead of receptivity, it will show up as submissiveness, right? Not asking, not being aware of your own needs or not asking for your own needs, right? Not setting your own boundaries. So it's only when the feminine holds its rightful place, then the masculine can. Both of these are complementary forces. So, and yeah, like just because we are in the female body does not mean we are rooted in our feminine, unfortunately, because of how the world is structured today. We might not be, especially in our 20s and 30s. This energy of the masculine is much more dominant. The wanting to do, wanting to go establish my identity in the world. All these are more dominant. Would anyone like to share which of these forces you think are more dominant within you, masculine and feminine?
I can share.
Yes, please.
I feel that growing up, the more predominant part was masculine, just for the society do, action, action, action.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like the part of resting, it's like, oh, you should not rest. Is also conditioned by the doing. But
Yeah.
now that I'm more in tune with the body, I'm just trying to find the balance. And I was saying in our team talk that sometimes it's hard during the menstrual phase that you are bleeding. I feel very, very tired. And sometimes that is not conductive with the day to day, the
Mm-hmm.
resting way more. So that's how I experienced.
Yeah, that's a whole journey in itself. So we call the period of menstruation inner winter, right? What happens, and just like we have our cycles, they mirror the outer cycles in nature. So what happens in winter everywhere around, in places which experience real winter, that is. So everything is still, everything is restful. No one is trying to harvest the earth. They let the earth rest, and that period allows it to recuperate and ready for the new season. So we honor these outer seasons, hopefully, or mostly because they almost force us to honor it. But these inner seasons, the world is not really tuned. It's not immediately when you first get on this journey of trying to live cyclically, you will find it challenging that the world doesn't seem supportive. But then how do you carve out that space for yourself? That's a journey like that. Being in a group of women like this can be supportive for that journey. So maybe can someone share, maybe Jo herself or someone else share, how do you rest in a world which is not designed for rest? What would rest look like?
Can I share something?
Yes, please, Priya.
So maybe you can set some boundaries, like if this is my sleep time, so I will sleep. Or maybe if I don't want to go out, then I will not go out. So that's how you can do it.
Yeah, beautiful. Set your boundaries. And the boundaries can be very lovingly set, right? Most of the time we confuse obligations with commitments or responsibilities. So, how many people won't really understand if you call up and say, "Yeah, sorry, today I don't have the energy to come out and be social. I think what I really need is rest. So can we schedule this event we were going to do next week or in a few days? How many people will not understand that? Right? And Stephanie is saying, I schedule bleeding days in the agenda so I can take more rest there, take little naps during those days, get into nature, undo. Perfect. Yeah. And that is the organizing power of the masculine. So when you're in your masculine and you have all this energy, you're scheduling things, you can also be aware when your bleed days are going to come and schedule rest days for yourself. Right? So it's great. And if your work really doesn't allow you to rest, what is that little bit we in Red School Week say the 1% you can give yourself of that? What would that look like? Maybe that would look like not picking up that call right now, which I don't need to pick up. Saying, giving a little more weight to the no's you feel. Not doing that little extras you would do at other times of the month. Anything else? How else would rest look like? I shall pick, I guess.
I personally like to engage with certain rituals, make it more ritualistic, like even, connecting with spending a little bit more time in the shower or with the water, or, like lighting something, or so something. In any case, on a day-to-day basis, there are so many rituals that we engage with, but being more aware of them, and maybe being more elemental in the rituals in that particular in our cycles, I find that works for me.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. I mean, I would love to go for a massage on those rest days, but what I do instead is because you can't always go for a massage, I just, after a shower, I give myself a nice oil massage by myself for a few minutes, light some nice smelling incense, put on some slow music, and all this, it's nothing, make it special for myself, whatever little I can do. I love the idea of rituals. So it always amazes me how quickly the hour goes, and I always have way more content than I can reasonably get through. So I hope you all got a taster of what the Shiva and Shakti energies in your cycle are. And Ritambara, you wanted to say
Yeah.
something.
Some other name is coming. My name is Bindya, but I didn't know it's
Vidya,
last name
sorry.
is Bindya. No problem. I have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, now, why is it that sometimes unnecessarily I feel, and I think I can say we feel also, if I have the liberty to say that, we feel so unbeautiful. We don't feel beautiful. Even putting some amount of makeup doesn't make me feel beautiful. And sometimes without doing anything, I just feel like a butterfly. I feel very beautiful. Why does this happen? And does this happen with you people as well?
Would anyone like to answer, Bindya?
That sometimes without any reason you feel very beautiful, and sometimes even after a lot of effort, you don't feel beautiful. Does this happen with you people?
Have you noticed when it happens in your cycle that you feel
I
beautiful?
I don't know, but that cycle I have hardly noticed any time.
May I take that up,
Okay.
Spandana, if you're okay?
Yeah, Latika, please go ahead. And Priya gave you a thumbs up, so she agrees as well that she resonates with that. Latika, yes.
So in evolutionary psychology, which is a branch of psychology, we study about this, and it says that mostly during ovulation, evolution wants us to get pregnant, right? Because it's the most fertile period. So they did a research, basically. They put a bunch of women in different women were invited, and a bar-like scenario was made, of course, in the research room, and it was just seen what are they wearing. So people and women especially who are more closer to their ovulatory period show more skin, put on more makeup, and are more likely to stay for longer in this bar-like scenario in order to attract a mate, because it's the fertile time of the month, versus people who are menstruating prefer not to show skin, prefer to dress down, are also perceived to be less attractive by men. So men were also asked to rate the perceived attractiveness of the women who were participating, and of course all of this was happening quite consensually. So there is a link between why we feel more outward and expressive and butterfly-like in certain phases of our menstrual cycle. I wonder if that answers your question, Vidya.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes, it's very true. Like we were saying, there is different tendencies which come up. And of course, there is actual very different hormonal changes happening in your body. So which will affect a little bit how you look and also how you feel. So we tend to retain more water in the closer to menstruation. So we'll feel and look a bit more bloated and things like that. And if you start noticing your cycle, you will notice you do feel a lot more confident, extroverted in your ovulation. So because you're more connected to the outer world and less connected to your more inner world. So you feel it, you can often feel it easier to be out there that time, right? And the other time in the cycle when you're more inwards drawn, yes, then all these being inwards drawn could also mean all these insecurities, your shadow sides, they're more alive, right? Doesn't mean you're less attractive that time necessarily. It's just that some of your shadow side, your wounding is more alive. So what is the self-care you can practice for yourself, right, in that time? That's something to be observed. Of course, this is a whole big science and personal evolution journey. This is part of what I work with women with, like helping them understand what tendencies are coming up and how to live more cyclically, tap into more creativity, more confidence, and more intuitiveness. So yeah. For those who don't right now, I would highly suggest at least start by tracking. Just your day one is the first day you bleed, and then how many other days you have. Just start by tracking, maybe in a journal or just by checking in which day am I on and what do I feel today. Maybe join more women's workshops, take some coaching, and build that relationship with yourself. So just one quick announcement. Thank you so much to Evolve Beings for hosting me today. It was lovely to be here and share this time and space with all of you.
Can
And
I ask one question, Spandana, before you go ahead?
yes, sure, please, Priya, go ahead.
Maybe the last one due to time
Yeah,
constraint.
sure, no problem.
Yeah, I got to know that this period, you must be aware of Kamakhya Devi, right?
Yeah.
The river which, means like there is bleeding going on this week. So from Monday till Thursday, she is also bleeding there. And they usually, like Bengali people, they worship a lot. So they will prefer not to eat non-veg and do some worship for earth as well. So they say she is very powerful during this period. So what can we do to increase our powers as well? Because fortunately, I got into periods in the same period. So tomorrow is also 4th day for me. So how can we also increase the power, like how powerful she is? So
Beautiful. So that Kamakhya temple you're talking about,
yes,
you know that, well, the temple itself is shut for 3 days when the goddess is said to be bleeding,
yeah, right. Yeah,
So that is to allow full rest. for the goddess. And that's exactly what you can do. The best thing you can do for yourself is give yourself full rest in this very precious time when you're going into your inner temple, your inner sanctum of your bleeding. So just rest, be with yourself, use that time for introspection. And actually, you don't even have to actively do anything. If you just rest, those insights, everything will come. So, whatever full rest really looks like for you, if you can give yourself that, the more of you can give yourself of that, the more you will tap into the benefits of this rejuvenating period that the bleed is supposed to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, a quick announcement. Evolved Beings has something called Wonder Woman Festival, which is happening in November. I think Nitamra here will put up the link in the screen, in the chat for everyone to see. Yes.
So here you can check the link on the chat and Spandana will talk about it for you.
Yeah. And 1 second. Yeah. Sorry, I just lost that. Yeah, so it's this one. They've been doing this for how many years now? It's the 5th year, I think, Ritamra.
Yes,
It's
had
a 6th year, and it's a powerful space where women can come home to themselves, to heal, to express, and awaken their feminine essence, and remember who they truly are. It brings together this event a global community of women, renowned healers, Tantra teachers, facilitators, working with various modalities. And this is all happening in Goa between November 21st to 25th for 5 days. So if you feel called to sign up, there is a special discount, I believe, for 24 hours for the people who attended this session with a code, which I think Ritambra should be putting up in the screen again. And yeah, it gives you a discount for that festival if you're interested.
Yes. Hey everyone. So I would just add to what Spandana just mentioned. So this Wonder Women Festival is to celebrate sisterhood, for women to come together, to heal together, to rise together. And there's going to be a lot of intense work. And you will also have Tantra teachers, healers, and facilitators from across the globe. And every year we have 200 plus women attending the festival. So if you'd want to join, you can check the link that I've shared in the chat. And just for next 24 hours, just for you people, we have a discount code that you can use and avail a small discount as a token of love. So, yep, you can do that. And over to you, Spandana.
Yeah,
Love
that's it.
showers. Love showers.
Thank you, Vindhya. So lovely to be with all of you today. And yeah, if you, I think my Instagram is not up on the site for some reason. It's spandana.innerflow. And I'm on the facilitator page on Evolved Beings also if you want to find me. So lovely to be with all of you and see you around.
Thank you, Spandana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Love showers to all of you. This is what we learn in Wonder Women. Yes.
Awesome. Bye, everyone. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Lots of love.